Well, getting out of Stockholm was pretty much like getting out of any other large metropolitan area. A little bit of a hassle, whole lot of traffic, lots of noise, but I made it. A little further, I was out into the suburbs, and of course there's still a lot of cars. And I love cars. Fast, sleek, loud. The faster, the more powerful, the better. And I saw a beautiful Mustang painted green, and it kind of reminded me of the Bullet car. And I'm also enthusiastic about the classics, and I spotted this old Volvo coupe, and I was looking at it, taking pictures, and the owner came out and we chatted briefly, and he was very proud of his car as well, as he well should have been. And then a few days later I'd come across a fire truck, but not just any fire truck. This fire truck was a GMC, and it dates back to the 20s, give or take some. And I put out feelers in an attempt to find out what year it was, but the best I got was from Terry Marsh, who said it was 1920s plus or minus. But it is absolutely pristine, great shape. Of course, it looked like it was having a tire change at the time. But again, it was something unusual. The next thing I have to talk about are the gravel roads. And Google has been launching me down gravel roads a whole lot, maybe 70% of the time since reaching Sweden. I don't know what the fascination is with gravel roads in Google, but I have been on some decent ones and some not so decent. And when road makers are making gravel roads, they really don't care about the percentage of incline or descent or anything else. They just knock down trees, pour some gravel on top of it, and away you go and be happy. This, just a few days ago, turned in to be extremely dangerous. I had reached a national park in Sweden, where I'm at currently, and they sent me down this trail. And the first kilometer down to where the ocean was just nice. Smooth, hard-packed limestone. Then the trail continued, and it turned into be sheer hell. I have never seen anything like this, and even the mere suggestion of riding a bicycle down, up, or around this was absolutely foolhardy. But the directions say, continue 1 kilometer, then turn left. And I kept thinking, well, there's going to be a road there. Obviously, there's going to be a road there. It's just a trail that you have to traverse, and it'll be there. Well, I pushed on for like 10 kilometers. And if I can say that there's one fault of bicycling by yourself, this is it. Because you will continue to push and push and push. Whereas if you or someone else, they would throw up the bullshit flag and say, stop, we're not going any further. And I would have turned around much earlier and not gotten nearly as beaten up. I did not realize how badly I'd been bloodied, beaten, and just pulverized until the following day when I went to bicycle. My whole body was aching. I wasn't really in pain, but I was feeling the results of pushing a bicycle 20 kilometers up and down mountains and hills and roots and boulders and rocks. It was ridiculous. I should have stopped long before and turned around, but I'm stubborn. Next up are the gates. Barriers, locked gates, fences. You'll ride along on a gravel road for 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers, 25 kilometers, and suddenly there's a complete barrier and there's no getting around it. So far I've been lucky. I've been able to crawl under them, go around them, or someone left the gate unlocked. And I've managed to get around each and every time, but it has truly become just a major obstacle. And I know one of these times I'm going to reach one of these things after 20 kilometers of pounding it out on a gravel road, and there is no way around it. After the event a couple days ago of being herded down some hiking trails in this national park, fired Google. They are done. I would never use them again for navigation ever in Europe. I'll use them to find a location, a store, a restaurant, a hotel, something along those lines. But then I'll navigate using Komoot, K-O-M-O-O-T. Is a fantastic app. It gives you a lot of different variables. If you want to go rough it like a billy goat, you can easily do it. Or you can cruise along on paved surfaces. And I do love cycling the paved surfaces, especially when you're loaded. It's not all bad. Have spent a couple days in a couple of major cities, which turned out to be very nice. But other than that, once you get out in the countryside, one thing Sweden does have, there are this series of thousands of shelters, and they're available. Most of them are completely fee-free. Just show up and utilize it. One night, I was out in the middle of the forest on a gravel road, and it was threatening rain, and I was headed to a shelter. Getting there was a bit of a challenge, but I made it. And I got there just as the rain started, and then the hail, then the thunder and the lightning, and I was very, very happy just to make it there. It was a sitting shelter, which meant that it was not meant for sleeping, but one of the benches had protection of walls on three sides, so I set up my air mattress on top of the bench, sleeping bag on top of that, and then draped my rain fly over top of everything in an attempt to keep the mosquitoes out. And it worked for the most part. A few bugs managed to get through, but besides just going to sleep like that, I also put on my mosquito net. And so I didn't suffer any bites that night, and I actually had a pretty decent sleep. I couldn't complain a whole lot about it. For all the complaining I've done during this video of the gravel roads, gates, rocks, boulders, roots, trees, I am still impressed with the absolute sheer beauty of this place. Oceans that are just totally undisturbed. The beaches are not pristine by any stretch of the imagination. They're just the way nature made them. Camping is remote and rough in some locations. The mosquitoes rule. Make no mistake about it. Luckily, I have some great mosquito juice that I purchased in Canada a few years ago, and I carry it with me everywhere. I'm having a great time, and hopefully I'll make it on up to Alta, Norway. I doubt if I'm going to pursue going up to the North Cape. I just don't think I'm going to have the time, and quite frankly, going through the North Cap tunnel again, I am not interested in doing that again. That was sheer terror.